Okay, so let's go to the mailbag. First is from
All right.
J12, and the subject is Omos. Greetings, Homo sapiens.
Oh,
Who would you book for almost a feud after Rollins, and how do you see his career going this year? With two belts, will he be a champ sooner than later? Thanks for all the entertainment. Arriba La Raza, this J12 from Parts Unknown. I don't know who. I mean, Omos is in a. His match with Rollins wasn't bad at all because like Rollins worked his ass off,
yeah.
doing big
Seth
bumps.
can,
You know, so, yeah, it's
he can
that's
kill it with
made it
anybody.
right. Um, I don't know. I'm not interested. I'm still not interested in this guy yet. I mean, he's still in a
Well,
like a big guy that tried to get over as a killer, but he's losing too much. It's just I don't know. You know.
so as you know, I haven't liked Omos since I first saw him because I knew he was green and he would be pushed. And nothing against that because I would push him too.
Right.
But I knew we were gonna have to go through the growing pains with him, and that can take a while. But hey, you can say Seth carried him, but it takes two to tango. You know, he looks good here,
Yeah.
so the potential is there. I would. You know what I would do? I would put him against that new Indian faction. Remember, I said they
Right.
should put them together, and they
Yeah.
actually did.
Mm.
I would put him against the Indian faction, but don't bury the Indians. You know, because
Right.
I think the Indians could be good heels. Keep them both strong in this feud, or maybe you could put them against Braun Strowman, but I would keep them both strong also.
You could actually. You know what? Let's be honest here. And then this might get the kid over. You know. And this would be like good because like you know MVP is with him and stuff. Everything. What if this guy does something to like one of the heels, like a a guy in a heel factions, and we do the old school thing? It's like somebody literally puts a bounty on this guy's head.
Right?
Like when I would get rid of Omos, and literally a whole faction would have to sign up to get rid. Remember, what's the old Clint Eastwood movie? The um, Every Which Way But Loose.
Right.
Remember
The
Philo
orangutan.
Beto? Yeah, Philo
Yeah.
Beto, right? He's a fighter,
Right.
but he off the whole biker gang.
Right.
So the whole biker gang was coming after like one guy, you know. So it's like that could be a way to like maybe get this guy over, where you have like a whole gang of people, and he's a giant guy, like old Andre the Giant type stuff. You know, where he has to fight two guys. He has to fight. You know, he's a big guy. I don't know. It might be able to get him over. I don't know if he has a psychology and he's too green to understand what you have to do and things like that. You know. So, but that's what I would do. Pick one of
For
these
the record,
gangs.
I don't like that idea. Nothing.
All right. Yeah. All right.
I don't see why they couldn't make Almost champion only because, you know, you say he's still green and this and that, but they made Great Khali champion and he could barely move. So,
Yeah,
No,
but
that's
Andre,
not an excuse to make another
no, it's not a
mistake.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, we made it a couple years ago. Let's do it again. Like we
Right.
learned nothing from
That
the
was-
first time.
Brutal.
Next is from Dale Fortunia, subject is Iceman. What's up, gang? A friend of mine watching Slamboree 98, an event I haven't watched since that day. You know when people say this, I was watching Slamboree 98, like I might have any clue what was in that on that show, right? I totally forgot about the Cruiserweight Battle Royal angle with Cyclope, a.k.a. D. Malenko, winning and then facing Jericho. Dale, so did everybody else, all right?
No,
I
that's a pretty popular. Yeah.
I can
Fans will
easily
remember
put
that.
I could easily put this as a top 10 moment for WCW due to the pop and the angle itself. Great storytelling. During the match, Malenko does the gutbuster on his knee from the second row, which is tremendously painful for both people. My question is, what move did you ever try to do in this? And I'm not trying this again due to risk of injury. Does Malenko ever get enough credit? Bonus, Joe, if you could find Jericho introducing participants of the Battle Royal, it would be tremendous. I did a backbreaker one time, right? And I hit, and I rolled my ankle a little bit. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. I could twist my.
You were given the backbreaker.
I get giving somebody a backbreaker, so a guy on my knee, and it hit my knee, and my ankle twisted a little bit, and it like buckled. And I'm like, I'm never doing that again. You could literally, if that happens again, your ankle twist, whatever, you could blow out your MCL or your ACL. Your knee is like, so I just never did it again. Like I see people do it, but like I just never did that again because the one time I did it, my ankle twisted and I could have blown my knee out. So
You never had a knee injury, did you, Di?
no.
Yeah.
Well, no, I did. I hyperextended, but it was only a 2-week injury. So
Oh.
yeah. What about you, Conan? What did
Yeah,
you
I
try?
had
And you said I'll never do it again.
Oh, bro, a frog splash where I almost dislocated my shoulder.
Right.
Ouch.
Eddie dislocated his
His
arm on
elbow.
a frog
Yeah.
splash one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next one's.
Do you want to see this Jericho intro? It is pretty funny.
Let's see it.
I think.
Because we all forgot about it.
I think Conan
right?
will dig it.
Conan had forgotten about it too, right, Conan?
Pretty much.
Oh, I remember this. Where he's introducing all the guys, right?
You notice this guy's hat?
Oh, yeah, I do remember this. Now that I see it.
What's this? There it is.
How long is this?
A couple minutes.
Let's hear it. This is probably pretty good.
Was it frozen?
Coming out first from Xochimilco, Mexico. You notice this guy's hat never comes off. He's the master of trick track, the master of defunk. He is Super Calo. Look at those moves, ladies and gentlemen. He's got about a 1 in 10 chance of winning, maybe. Coming out next from El Paso, Mexico. This guy used to be a great bartender, but hasn't translated to his wrestling skills. He's the scourge of the illustrious Guerrero family. He is Chavo Guerrero Jr. Maybe a 2 out of 10 chance of winning. Coming out next from Mexico, this is the rags to riches story. From selling chimichangas on the streets to WCW, Ciclope. Now we got Damien. He can't afford a mask. He's using paint. But sooner or later, he's going to buy a mask. I'm guaranteeing you that. Here we go. The winner of the Lou Ferrigno lookalike contest. This guy's also from Mexico, El Dandy. Coming out next, he's the world welter light featherweight pacing champion. He is El Grillo. Now this guy pulled up in a nice rusted out 68 El Camino Chevy. He's the ugliest man in our sport today. He's the illustrious Quasi-Juice Guerrera. A former champion in many countries. He's going to rock till he drops. Rock, never stop. Marty Jannetty, ladies and gentlemen.
There's Billy.
Coming up next from Allentown, PA. He is a lost and lonely soul. His name is Kidman. And Kidman, I got some calamine lotion for you after the show. This guy's the true shooter of WCW. Does he have a chance? 0 out of 10. No way. He's ever courageous, ladies and gents. Oh, yeah. Straight from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Oh, yeah. I want my Loverboy tape back, Lenny Lane. And, of course, we got Psychosis. He's got a lot of hubcaps in his collection. If you need one, we'll procure you one for you after the show. This guy is Silver King. If he wins 12 more matches, he'll be upgraded to Golden King. This guy is Johnny Singer. Johnny Swinger. You ever heard of this guy? I haven't. 0 out of 10 chance of winning. No chance. And last but not least, representing the Llanos 1 through 62, from the illustrious Villano family, he is Villano 4. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your contestants in tonight's Battle Royal. I'm going to the back for a coffee, because none of these guys will ever beat me for my belt.
That was entertaining.
Who the hell was Conan left, for God's sakes? Who was El Grillo? I was going to ask him. I didn't recognize that guy.
I didn't even recognize that guy.
If I remember correctly, he was this guy that was backstage, I think, visiting one of the wrestlers, and he was a wrestler promoter, something like that, and they just stuck him in there as an extra body.
Okay.
Where was Slamboree from?
Baltimore?
Yeah, probably Baltimore. So this one's from Stuart. Subject is the School of Disco.
No,
Hi,
Worcester, Mass. Worcester. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
School of Disco. Hi, K100 crew. I tried asking my wife, who is a teacher, but she just responded with, who? So I'll ask Coney and Joe instead. On a scale of 1 to 10, how stupid is the Disco Inferno's idea of making school children listen to its amazing music from a bygone era? And he lists Milli Vanilli, Boy George, Tiffany, etc.? All right. By the way, good choice given the person with the most impeccable comedic timing, the ability to play sound effects throughout the show. Cheers, Stuart. Well, we're going to suspend Stuart. Yeah, we're going to suspend Stuart because that's, first of all, it's misinformation. I think that kids should grow and listen to Led Zeppelin and U2 and stuff and everything, not Milli Vanilli, Boy George, and Tiffany. So we're going to suspend Stuart for a week. Also for saying that you have impeccable comedic timing, Joe, which you do not.
I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
Well, get the hell out of here, Stuart. You're
Joe,
suspended.
Coney, would you agree that Joe has impeccable comedic timing?
Well, he's got a real Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, quick, witty
Bill
vibe about
Burr,
him.
right?
Yeah,
Bill
right,
Burr.
right. Yeah, this guy, whoever wrote this, what was his name?
Stewart.
He must be on fentanyl.
Yeah.
This is for Stewart right here.
Now go home and get your shine box.
That's funny.
Conan, for your new mic doesn't
Yeah.
carry this kazoo very well. By the way,
That's
Did you
all
know
right.
that?
I have
Joe will install it.
Yeah, I have a dozen kazoo samples, so I'll fix it as I edit.
Next one's from Isidro Ramirez. Subject is jail. Hello. Due to the subject of my letter, I'll use an alias. You can call me Bill Ding. This is my first letter ever. Long-time listener going on 4 years now. I recently completed a 6-month sentence in the regional jail. Want to mention how pro wrestling was reacted to in jail. It's interesting. While WWE has their small collection of fans due to lifelong fans, the pageantry, the sets, and the women, AEW is looked at like a laughing joke, worse than a laughing joke. If you were caught watching AEW, you'd be robbed mercilessly and probably be labeled a geek, nerd, and someone men could walk all over. In an all-male alpha setting like jail, where the strong survive and the weak get their asses kicked or worse, AEW is labeled fake, cartoonery, lame, and did nothing to draw on viewers where we had literally nothing to do besides read, work out, or watch TV. One instance in particular I'd like to point out. AEW remained stuck on a TV before TNT NBA All-Star Weekend, and when the opening match consisted of a 6-man tag where they played with basketballs throughout the match, it came off as so pandering and cringeworthy. I had to visibly and openly subject pro wrestling to insults along with my co-watchers. People ask why AEW wrestling as a whole doesn't grow in viewers, and I can honestly answer over 21 alpha males are not watching wrestling, have no intention of watching wrestling, and wrestling is on TV is no way of pulling them back in compared to the attitude era of the late 1990s. Sorry for the long-winded commentary, but I just feel like this is strong commentary of the business of how casual male viewers view the product. I would not, Isidro Ramirez, I'd like to know what you were in jail for, but I would not qualify people that committed crimes as casual male viewers in that category. Would you agree with that, Conan? People that commit crimes and go to jail, would you put them in the demographic of a casual male viewer?
I don't know. Maybe they do watch a lot of TV because they're at home.
I'm kind of interested in that. If we have any other ex-con listeners, were you watching wrestling in jail, and who was over, who wasn't, what shows did they actually?
Well, WWE back in the 90s had to be over. The 1990s, the late 90s, wrestling had to be over huge in jail.
WCW too, yeah, for sure.
I bet you had guys factions thinking like they were the NWO and stuff and everything in jail, right?
Yeah. WCW was huge in like college dorms. Like on a dude floor, everyone would have it on.
Of course, they would have nitro parties.
Yeah.
So it was like a party.
Cedro, basically, number one, I like the fact that you went into jail for 6 months, and when you came out, you were still listening to the show. Or were you listening to the show in the pen?
That'd be awesome.
Let me know if that's possible.
Let me know what you think of me.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. AEW is not a show for alpha males, bro. UFC is, you know, and probably football. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you just look in the crowd at AEW, and it's not. There's like not.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like people that are.
That's for like kind of nerds,
antisocial,
and
right? Yeah, like
Yeah.
Which is odd because some of the stuff they do is hard hitting, and there's a lot of blood. You'd think the blood would draw in more, like alpha males would watch it.
Yeah, but they know it's. But bro, it's 2023.
And they know that blood's not real.
Yeah, they know they're slicing themselves. And right, so
yeah, right.
So next is some Harrison Yanger, and the subject is Jade Cargill. On a recent episode of the show, Jim Cornette said that AEW are actually harming Jade Cargill by giving her this undefeated gimmick. He says it's made her matches extremely predictable and missable. Plus, he mentioned that her wrestling so rarely is doing more damage than good in the long run. I actually listened to this clip by Cornette, by the way. We can speak on this. What I'd like to know from K100 is, what do you guys think is her future with AEW? She's hotter than hell, but she's had the exact same angle gimmick in AEW for like 3 to 4 years now. Do you think her stay in AEW is harming her? Cornette made a good point. She's been around for what now, 3 years? And like the only matches she's had are the matches she's had in AEW, and she's 55-0. Like she's only had 55 matches in like 3 years.
3 years. Yeah.
That's not a lot at all. You know, I mean, maybe that's why she is still green. You know, over the course of 1,000 days, and you've only had 55 matches. That's. I mean, would you kind of agree with that, right, Conan?
Yeah, and yeah, I don't think that undefeated thing is helping her at all. She should be a way bigger star. I I've never really seen her in a feud.
Right.
Was she the one that slapped Shaq, or was it Brandy?
Brandy.
Okay. But I've seen her do nothing with Soraya, with Ruby Soho, with Storm, with Britt Baker. Taya's the only one, and Taya kind of looked dumb on that finish,
Yeah,
where,
yeah,
oh, I
terrible.
forgot I can't put my finish on her, and then she rolled me up.
Yeah.
That was brutal. And it's almost like I almost feel like their thinking is, let's put the belt on her because with that look, she's money. Yeah, but now that money look is 3 years old. It's
Yeah.
not new anymore. You got to do something with it, or it will get stale, like what is happening. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it's very, very stale. You know.
Next is from Lus Geisman. The subject is Taya done already. By the way, Cornette talked about this too.
Right.
WWE made a huge mistake releasing Taya Valkyrie and then they're not re-signing her to deal. So when AEW was able to sign her up, I thought this is going to be really cool. She's a great wrestler, and let's be honest, she's hot. Tony Khan brought her into feud with Jade Cargill, which seemed like it was going to be pretty good, and oh my, it was a car crash. Not only did they give the match away for free on TV instead of saving it for pay-per-view, they worked a match and made Taya look really bad with the finish. Am I reaching saying that AEW may have ruined Taya already? What do you guys think? That 911 joke that Billy made on Twitter about Zelina Vegas' dad was low class, even for a guy who lived in his mommy's spare room and stalks famous people. We're not going to repeat that tweet, by the way. I'm not on the show. It's
Stupid.
ridiculous. It's so stupid. Um,
But people were telling me, Di, that in the past, Billy's also made jokes.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
J-
About it.
okay.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
Okay, we're not bringing that up.
It's just not a first for him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, which is what
Yeah.
I didn't follow him a lot, so I didn't realize all this. So WWE made a so I'll say this: that match was definitely a styles clash. But bro, Taya's match against Jade George was better than that. Was
Yes,
better
it
than this
was.
match, but Jericho
Yeah.
way better, right? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so I don't know if like like they said we
She's
said
still
they
green.
were right, exactly.
She's still green, and in all her matches, she does 3 to 5 moves, maybe tops, and that's
Right.
it.
Right.
And
But,
if you want to see Conan and Disco review Jay George versus Taya Valkyrie with Jay George on the panel, it's on Patreon, video version, obviously, so you can see the match too.
Yeah.
And I would suggest to you guys that we could and should make that an option on Patreon. If you're an indie guy and you want these guys to critique your match, come on and join the $25 tier or whatever. As long as it's not a 45-minute match.